So in this video we are going to solve another problem. So what I'll do is I'll read out the problem once, then we can start solving the problem. Okay. A pipeline ABC 180 meter long is laid on an upward slope of 160. The length of the portion AB is 90 meter and its diameter is 0.15 meter. At B, the pipe section suddenly enlarges to 0.3 meter diameter and remains so far the remainder of its length BC 90 meter. A flow of 50 liters per second is pumped into the pipe at its lower end A and is discharged at the upper end C into a closed tank. The pressure at the supply end A is 137.34 kN per meter square. Sketch the total energy line, hydraulic gradient line, and also find the pressure at the discharge end C. Take F is equals to 0.02. Okay, this is what the question is. According to the given question, I have drawn the figure. So I will be explaining the figure while reading the question again. Okay, so let me read the question again, and by the same time I will be also explaining the diagram, whether you can see whether it is correct or not. Okay, so he said that there is a pipeline of 180 meter long is laid on an upward slope of 1 in 60. This is what the first line is, which means that this is the pipe which is 180 meter long and it is laid at an angle of 1 in 60. At a slope of 1 in 60. So this is what we know. Okay. So then the length of the portion AB. So this is a length of ABC. The total length is A to C. So length AB is of 90 meter and its diameter is 0.15 meter. And at B, the diameter changes. It gets enlarged to 0.3 meter and the remaining length will be of 90 meter itself. So it means what? So we have a pipe of total length 180 meter. For first 90 meter, the diameter is 1.15 meter, and the first next 90 meter, the diameter is 0.3 meter. This is what is given to you, and it's laid at a slope, at an upward slope of 1 in 60. Okay. Now, from the end A, here there is a pumping system. So from end A, it is being pumped and it is discharged into this reservoir. So this is the discharging point at C. So from here, the water will be discharged into this tank. Now, how much the water is being discharged? The discharged water is 50 liters per second. So Q is 50 liters per second. Then the pressure at the supply end. It means what? The pressure that is given, pressure that is being supplied at this end, pumping end, is given as 137.34 kilonewton meter square. So this is given to you. So these are the given data. With that, he has also given you how much is the F value. F value is 0.02. Now, what he has told us to do, we have to calculate how much is the total energy lines. So we need to draw the sketch of total energy line, and then we have to draw the sketch of hydraulic gradient line, and also we need to determine how much is the pressure at the discharge end. This is your discharge end. At this end, at C, we need to determine how much is the pressure that we have. Okay, so let us start solving the problem. So we have written all the given data, and let us try to understand what all things that I have solved here. Okay. So first thing what we will do is we will try to write down what is discharge, what is pressure at A. So according to the discharge, it is in terms of liters per second. You have to convert that in terms of meter cube per second. So you need to divide it by 1000, which will give you 0.05 meter cube per second. So this is a discharge in terms of meter cube per second. So whenever it is given in terms of liters per second, you have to divide by 1000 to get it in terms of meter cube per second. Okay. Now, this is PA, which is 137.34 kilonewton per meter square. Let us calculate how much is the pressure head at A. So PA by W, which is pressure head at A, will be equals to 137.34 into 10 raised to 3 divided by 9810 being the unit weight of water. So from this I could be able to calculate how much is the pressure head in terms of water, which is 14 meter of water. Okay. So after that, let us say that this pipe AB is having a diameter of 0.15 meter. I will call this as D1. So D1 is 0.15 meter, and D2, which is the diameter of pipe BC, is 0.3 meter. So correspondingly, for diameter D1 and D2, we will calculate how much is A1 and A2. So pi by 4 into D1 square is equals to this much. Pi by 4 into D2 square will be equal to this much. So we have calculated how much is the cross-sectional area of pipe AB and pipe BC. Okay, so after calculating A1 and A2, we will calculate how much is the velocities in the pipe AB and BC. So the velocity in pipe AB is called as V1, the velocity in pipe BC is called as V2. So V1 is equals to Q by A1, V2 is equals to Q by A2. We already have calculated how much is Q. So Q divided by A1 is 2.83, which is V1, and Q divided by A2, which is 0.707, which is equal to V2. So the velocities in the pipe AB and BC is also being calculated. Next we can calculate correspondingly how much is the velocity head. So V1 square by 2g is representing the velocity head, which is equals to 0.408. So V2 square by 2g is 0.02552 meter. Okay, so we have calculated all these things. Next what we'll do is we'll calculate what are the losses that will occur when the water flows from point A to point C. Okay, when the water is pumped at point A and when it is discharged into the tank, we need to calculate all those losses. So once we determine all the losses, we can draw the sketch of total energy line and hydraulic gradient and all of those things. So first what we'll do is we'll try to understand what are the losses that can take place. So first we'll start from AB. So when the water moves from point A to point B, due to the friction, there is a loss that is going to take place. Let me call it as friction loss in the pipe AB, which is called HF1. So HF1 will be equals to F1 L1 V1 square divided by 2G D1. Okay, so F is going to remain same. He has given you only one F, which means the frictional coefficient of pipe AB and pipe BC is going to remain same. So F1 is equal to F is equal to F2. Okay, don't have to worry about that. Okay, now let us substitute what is F value. Let us substitute the value of length AB, which is 90 meter, and we know how much is the velocity in the pipe AB. How much is that velocity? 2.83, which is V1. Okay, so 0.02 into 90 into 0.83 square divided by 2 into 9.81 into 0.15. 0.15 being the diameter of the pipe, we will get to know how much is the head loss that is going to take place from A to B, which is 4.90 meter. Okay, so once you have written this, we have calculated how much is the head loss here. Similarly, we can calculate how much is the head loss that is going to take place between B to C. So I'll call it as HF2, head loss that is going to take place in pipe 2. So here it will be again F2 into L2 into V2 square divided by 2GD2. We know how much is F2. F2 is equals to F itself, which is 0.02. L2 is also 90 meter, and V2, how much is V2? V2 has been calculated already, which is 0.7076. Okay, D2 is 0.3 meter. Substitute all the values, you will determine how much is HF2, head loss, is being calculated. Now we know that at joint B or at point B, the diameter varies from 0.15 to 0.3. So that's why there is a loss due to sudden enlargement. So the equation to calculate the loss due to sudden enlargement is this one, V1 minus V2 whole square divided by 2G, which we have determined in the previous class itself. Right? Substitute what is V1. V1 is 2.83, V2 is 0.7076, and then you solve how much is the head loss due to enlargement. After that, the water exits from pipe to a tank. So this we will call it as exit loss, which is 0.5 V square by 2G. So V2 square we already know, we have determined that. So substituting that, we can calculate how much is the head loss due to exit. So we have calculated how much is head loss due to friction in both the pipes. We have calculated how much is the head loss due to enlargement. We have also calculated how much is the head loss due to exit. So after calculating all the head losses, the next step would be to determine the total energies. Okay, so we'll start from joint A. So at point A, we will try to determine how much is the total energy, and we will also calculate how much is the hydraulic head. Okay, so total energy will be always equal to PA by W plus of VA square by 2G plus of ZA. Okay, right. Now what is the next step is to determine what is these datum values. Okay, so as we know, this is data at 1:60. So let me call A as your datum point. With respect to datum, we will try to calculate how much is the elevation head at individual points at A, at B and at C. So if I consider joint A as a datum itself, at point A itself as datum, if I consider it, so ZA will be equal to 0. Okay, so ZA equal to 0. Now let me calculate how much is the ZB. To calculate ZB, what we need to do is, we know it is 1 in 60 slope. So what is the length here? 90. 90 by 60, it will give you how much is the elevation head. So the elevation head ZB will be equal to 1.5 meter. Okay, right. Now similarly, we will go to joint C. we'll try to determine how much is the ZC here, means the elevation height at the sea. So if this is 180 meter, 180 by 60 will give you how much is ZC, which is this is 3 meter. So we have calculated how much is the data height at A, data height at B, and data height at C. So now let us determine how much is the total energies at all the points. So total energy at A will be equal to PA by W plus of VA square by 2G plus of ZA. Now what is VA square by 2G means? What is the velocity at end A? It will be equal to V1 itself. So PA by W 14 plus of VA square by 2G, which is 0.408, plus of ZA is equal to 0. So the total energy will be equal to 14.408. Okay, right. So this is the total energy at A. Now we can calculate how much is the hydraulic head at A. So how to calculate the hydraulic head at A? It will be equal to PA by W plus of ZA. In case of hydraulic head, I have explained in the previous class what is piezometric head. Piezometric head is nothing but your hydraulic head, which is equals to the sum of pressure head and the elevation head only. Okay, so that's why hydraulic head at A will be equals to PA by W plus of ZA, which is 14 meter. Okay, ZA equal to 0, and you know how much is PA by W, which is 14. So this is what the hydraulic head will become. Now what I will do is, I'll plot both those lines. What I'll do is I'll draw a vertical line and let me say this total line from joint A to here is 14.408. Okay, and from here to this point it is 14. Okay, so I have plotted the first point of total energy at A. So this is the total energy at A, which is 14.408, and this is the hydraulic head or piezometric head at A. So I have plotted these 2 points. I need to plot these 2 points. I have plotted it. Okay. Next, what I will do is I will calculate how much is the total energy before the enlargement, and I will also calculate how much is the total energy after the enlargement at point B. Okay. Let us do that. So total energy at B. This is your point B. At B before enlargement. Okay, so total energy at B before enlargement means in case of before enlargement, I am not going to consider the energy loss due to sudden enlargement. Okay, that is what you need to remember. So I am considering only this portion. I am not going beyond this junction. Okay, so I am before this junction. Okay, right. Now let us see what will be the equation for total energy at B before enlargement. It will be equals to PB by W plus of V1 square by 2G plus of ZB, that is your value. Okay, we have not determined yet this value. Don't try to remember this. Okay, so PV by W plus of V1 square by 2G plus of ZB will be equal to total energy at B before enlargement. That is what we know. Okay, now let us say total energy at A will be equal to total energy at B plus of head loss. And what is that head loss we need to consider? Head loss due to friction. When water moves from point A to point B, which is before enlargement, there is only one loss that is going to happen. What is that head loss? The head loss is due to friction, which is called HF1. So that's why total energy at A will be equals to total energy at B plus of head loss due to friction in pipe AB. Right? So now let us substitute what is total energy at A, which is 14.408, equated to PB by W plus of. Now let me see how much is the velocity before the expansion or before the enlargement. What is the velocity before the enlargement? It is equal to V1 square by 2G. So V1 square by 2G is 0.408. So I am going to substitute it over here. Okay. Now how much is the datum height here? Datum height will be equal to 1.5 meter itself. Whether it is before enlargement or after enlargement, the ZB value will remain same. Okay. Plus of HF1. How much is HF1? HF1, which we have calculated here, which is 4.9. So substituting all of that, we can calculate how much is PV by W. PV by W is 7.6. Okay. So once you calculate how much is PV by W, we can again go back and find out how much is the total energy before enlargement. So PV by W is 7.6. V1 square by 2G is 0.408. Plus of ZB is 1.5. So the total energy at B before enlargement is 9.508. Right. So this is how we have determined how much is the total energy at B before enlargement. Now let us calculate how much is the hydraulic head at B, which is before enlargement. So here it will be again PV by W plus of ZB. Okay, we need to neglect the velocity head. So PV by W plus of ZB equal to 9.1 meter. Right. So we calculate how much is the total energy, and we have also calculated how much is the hydraulic head Okay, so with that what we'll do is we'll plot 2 points. So this is the point which is representing the total energy at B before enlargement, and this is again another point which is representing the total hydraulic head before the enlargement. Now I will join these 2 points. Okay, by joining these 2 points I will calculate how much is by joining these 2 points I have calculated I have drawn the total energy line. By connecting these 2 points I have determined what is my hydraulic gradient line. Right? So you need to remember this. This is how we have calculated how much is the total energies at A and at B before enlargement. Now let us determine how much is the total energy after the enlargement. Okay, after the sudden enlargement. So I will call it as B dash. B was representing before enlargement, B dash will represent how much is the total energy after the enlargement. So total energy at B dash, which is after enlargement, is equals to PB dash divided by W plus of V2 square by 2G. Now see why I am considering V2 square by 2G, because already there is an enlargement that is taken place. So it means what, I am just next to this pipe. It means what, the velocity here will be equal to what is the velocity in the pipe BC. So the velocity in the pipe BC is V2 square by 2G. So V2 square by 2G we already determined. We know how much is ZB. I told you ZB will remain same. Okay. So we know what is the equation for total energy at B dash, which is after enlargement, which is PB dash by W plus of V2 square by 2G plus of ZB. Okay. Now the total energy at B will be equal to total energy at B dash plus of HE. Now see here, this is B is representing before enlargement, B dash is representing after enlargement, right? So total energy at before enlargement will be equal to total energy after enlargement plus of some head loss that is going to take place. What is that head loss? That head loss is nothing but your head loss due to enlargement. Okay, so now substitute what is total energy before enlargement, which we have already calculated, 9.508 here, and PB dash by W plus of, we know what is V2 square by 2G, substitute that. We know how much is ZB, substitute that, plus of HE. What is HE here? HE is the head loss due to sudden enlargement. Substitute that also. From this you determine how much is PB dash divided by W, which is 7.752. And similarly, we can also calculate how much is hydraulic head after enlargement, which is B dash, which is PB dash divided by W plus of ZB, which is 9.25. Okay. So after calculating how much is total energy and hydraulic head after the enlargement, we can again see and plot them here. Okay, so here it is. I have not written the values, I will write here. So the value over here will be equals to the total energy that we have written here. How much is the total energy at B dash? So you can see what is the change that has happened here. You can compare what is the total energy before enlargement and what is the total energy after the enlargement, and you can also compare what is the hydraulic head before the enlargement and what is the hydraulic head after the enlargement. Okay, let's see here. Though there can be a reduction in the total energy, but the hydraulic head is increased before and after enlargement. Okay, this basically happens because, as we know, this is the smaller diameter pipe, the velocity head will be great here. As the diameter gets reduced, the velocity head will suddenly get reduced, as you can see here. So the velocity head before the expansion is 0.408 and the velocity head after the expansion is reduced to a very small number, right? Because of that, the hydraulic head before and after the expansion is going to increase. It means what? The hydraulic head before the expansion is less compared to the hydraulic head after the expansion, but whereas the total energy before the expansion is greater compared to the total energy after the expansion. Now this is what you need to understand. So whenever there is a sudden enlargement that is going to take place, the hydraulic head will increase but the total energy is going to reduce. The total energy is reduced because we have to deduct how much is the energy that is lost due to expansion. Okay, right. So this is what you need to understand. Now once we have solved how much is the total energy at A and at B before and after enlargement, the next step is to solve for how much is the total energy and hydraulic head before and after the exit. Okay, let us solve that. So once we have calculated how much is the total energy and all of that before at B before and after enlargement, now let us go to joint C. Okay, So which is the last point. So here also we'll consider before exit and after exit. So before exit, let us calculate how much is the total energy and hydraulic gradient line. Okay. So total energy at C, I'll call this as before exit. It means what? Before the point of exit, this has been considered, and C dash will represent similar to that of what I did with B and B dash. B was representing before enlargement, B dash was representing after the enlargement. Here also C is representing before exit and C dash will represent after exit. Okay. Let us assume before exit. Before exiting, velocity exists. After exit, there is no velocity because the water is inside the tank. The water inside the tank is static in condition, so the velocity is equal to 0 there. Okay. So before exit there exists the velocity head. After exit there will be no velocity. That is what you need to understand. Okay. Right. So let us calculate how much the total energy at C, which is before exit, which will be equal to PC by W. PC by W is representing the pressure head at the C plus of V2 square by 2G. The velocity at the velocity head before the exit, which is equals to V2 square by 2G plus of ZC. ZC is 3 meter. Okay. Right. So this is what we need to calculate. Now total energy at B dash, means after the enlargement, will be equals to total energy at C, which is before exit, plus of HF2 is there. Okay, what is HF2? HF2 is the head that is going to get reduced from joint B to joint C, which is HF2. Okay, so we know how much is total energy at B dash, which I have solved in the previous case. Okay, so substitute that here, determine how much is PC by W. PC by W is 6.1 meter. Now from this we calculate how much is the hydraulic head. Hydraulic head at C will be equal to PC by W plus of ZC, which is equals to 9.1 meter itself. Okay. So once you calculate how much is the total energy and hydraulic head, so the total energy at C is 9.1255 and hydraulic head will be equal to 9.1 meter itself. Okay. So similarly, what I can do is I can write how much is the total energy at this point. At this point, the total energy is equals to how much? 9.1255. Now, similarly, at this point, the hydraulic head will be equals to 9.1 meter. Okay. So this is how we have determined how much the total energy at joint C, which is before exit. Now let us calculate how much is the total energy after the exit. Okay. So the total energy at C dash, which is representing after exit, will be equal to PC by W plus of ZC. As I told you earlier, there will be no velocity head because the water inside the tank is static. The velocity head will become 0. So the total energy at C, which is before exit, will be equal to total energy at C dash, which is after exit, plus of H exit, head loss due to exit is there. Now equate these two equations, determine how much is PC by W. PC by W is 6.01 or something. Or 6.1 meter itself, right? So from this you calculate how much is hydraulic head. So hydraulic head will be equal to 9.1. Okay. So here the hydraulic head and the total energy will be remaining same because we know that the velocity is equals to 0 there, right? So this is how we determine how much is PC by W. So PC by W is equals to 9.1. PC by W is how much? 6.1 meter, and this is your ZC, which is 3 meter. So the total hydraulic head will be equals to 9.1 meter, which is equal to the hydraulic head before the exit also. Okay. So this is how we have determined how much is the pressure head at C. So PC by W is equals to 6.1 meter. Now we can calculate how much is PC. PC can be calculated by multiplying. So it will be 59.8 kilonewton per meter square. Okay. So this completes the solution of this given problem. So if you find any doubt while solving this problem, you can ask me those questions. Okay. Thank you.